हेलो एवरीवन। गुड आफ्टरनून, गुड इवनिंग ऑल। कैसे हैं सब लोग? मेरा नाम है अरविंद
Namaste everyone, Saurav here.
और हम हैं हैदराबाद बॉयज, वेयर वी टॉक ऑल थिंग्स क्रिकेट। थोड़ा गैप आ गया है, आई थिंक कपल ऑफ वीक्स नाउ। आई गेस वर्ल्ड कप के बाद वी वर वांटेड टू टेक कपल ऑफ वीक्स ब्रेक, जस्ट फोकस ऑन आवर डे टू डे लाइफ। थोड़ा काम भी बिजी हो गया था, बट आई गेस द क्रिकेट इज बैक इन फुल फोर्स। Um, काफी अच्छा क्रिकेट हो रहा है across the world. We have New Zealand is playing Bangladesh. We have Australia is playing Pakistan in Pakistan, which is fantastic. एक fantastic game चल रहा है. But हम बात करते हैं इस वीडियो में और इस आज के सेगमेंट में the game happening in South Africa, which is India's tour of South Africa. आई थिंक इंडिया ने ऑलरेडी T20 और वनडे कर चुके हैं. करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, सौरव मैम.
Yeah,
नॉट
you're right.
बिन completely following the whole sequence there, but I believe India won the T20s there. I think
No,
they won
T20s,
one. एक
T20
बैटर
was
हुआ.
a draw and ODI was a win for India.
Correct. So yeah, they won 2-1, I believe.
Yes.
T20 में एक ड्रॉ हुआ था. So हमने सोचा कि let that go along. Um, but I think for us the real cricket has always been Test. So
True.
बहुत अच्छा गेम हुआ था सेंचुरियन में. And I thought we just cover today what that game was all about. Um, yeah, let's start there. So sort of I so for me the problem was always कि यार ये जो इंडिया साउथ अफ्रीका टूर जो होता है ना, वो जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ रात के 2 बजे शुरू होता है the game. Can't get to even the ODIs were happening little
True.
till
I get it.
the T20 was happening at the middle of the night and all of that. So टेस्ट के लिए one good thing was because it's whole day. I sometimes get a chance in the morning to catch up final session. um लग रहा था कि इंडिया would struggle. I mean, my prediction or my thought process was it will take India a little bit of time for them to switch over from all the
Acclimatize.
ODIs they have done and all the T20s they have played in the recent times. Obviously, the focus has always been on the T20 World Cup, and you had all the youngsters coming in. But it was a little bit of a shock or what has happened in in the first test which has happened in Centurion. तो इंडिया ने पहले बैटिंग करी थी. Quick recap: 245 all out. KL Rahul did a nice century. They needed it because they were kind of struggling, and Rohit Sharma had a terrible test match. Shubman Gill didn't fire at all. Yeah, Shastri had some promise, but yeah, he didn't do much. But yeah, essentially 245 all out. And then सर हमने ऑफलाइन बात हुई थी कि South Africa will do well. So and then they exactly did that. They just scored a 408, got to see 185 from Dean Elgar. And yeah, India crashed. Third day पे ही गेम खत्म हो गया 131. And result आपके सामने है. South Africa has won this by an innings in 32 runs. So Sir, yeah, hello, welcome. I thought I'd give you a summary and bring you in. How are you
Yeah,
doing? And
I'm
what was
I'm I'm
your
doing well.
reaction?
Yeah, actually the game was good till yesterday, right? You said it was a fantastic game. It was a fantastic game till yesterday. Or I mean, even though I think South Africa had their noses, थोड़ा आगे थी इंडिया से by the end of the day, because they were already 11 runs behind. Lekin if India could have, just got few wickets, let's say couple of wickets in the first hour of today, you possibly were talking of 50, 60 runs lead, and psychologically, India would have, felt slightly better when they would have come to bat during second innings. Lekin I think match turn हो गया, थर्ड इनिंग, आई मीन जो साउथ अफ्रीका ने जो बैटिंग की थर्ड डे में, so मेरे हिसाब से वो प्रीमेच्योर एंडिंग हुई है. आई वाज नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग कि इंडिया इज गोइंग टू गेट बोल्ड आउट सो चीपली बाय डे 3. आई मीन डे 3 खत्म भी नहीं हुआ. If you just look at it, honestly speaking, 60 odd overs in the first inning, 60 odd overs in the, I mean, South Africa ने 100 overs bat किए, 160, so close to आई डोंट नो 3 दिन के 240 ओवर्स होने चाहिए, लेकिन आई थिंक 200 ओवर में पूरा मैच खत्म हो गया मुझे लग रहा है, शायद इफ आई एम राइट, मे बी यू कैन जस्ट डू योर मैथ्स, बट इंडिया डिडंट सर्वाइव डे 3 against, I know offline you were quite optimistic about South African chances, and
To
even though
10
I'm a,
overs.
I'm a 210 overs, right? And I'm an ardent South African cricket fan, no pun intended, but I was not so optimistic about South Africa. I mean, last teen series से South Africa, for some reason India has been traveling to South Africa in 2018, 2021. मुझे हर वक्त लगा कि इंडिया के पास बहुत अच्छा चांस है to conquer the final frontier. You know, this is the final frontier for India as far as the away series is concerned. They haven't been able to crack the South African code for, I don't know, 31 years now. और इस बार तो मुझे लगा था कि काफी अच्छा चांस है विद द हाई दैट दे हैव बीन कमिंग, आई नो कि वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल्स नहीं जीत पाए, लेकिन दे डिड क्वाइट वेल। साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ भी बहुत अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस थी उनकी। दे डिड रिलेटिवली वेल इन द शॉर्टर फॉर्मेट। आई नो न्यूअर सेट ऑफ प्लेयर्स वर कमिंग इन द टेस्ट मैच, लेकिन आई ऑलवेज फेल्ट साउथ इंडिया हैज अ सुपीरियर साइड in test matches when compared to South Africa, and at least this particular South African team. लेकिन ऑन द हाइंड साइड आई थिंक आपने एक जो पॉइंट बोला कि थोड़ा टाइम लगा शायद इंडिया को acclimatize to moving from shorter format to the longer format, फिर ये भी हो सकता है कि साउथ अफ्रीकन कंडीशंस को समझ नहीं पाए। मतलब आई थिंक दे डिडंट प्ले अ प्रैक्टिस गेम, एंड दैट्स आई थिंक दैट्स वन थिंग दैट you'll start hearing, if the tour, this test tour doesn't really go well for India, कि उन्होंने प्रैक्टिस मैचेस क्यों नहीं खेले, क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम भी यही हुआ था कि लास्ट ईयर 2018 में रिमेम्बर जब 2-1 इंडिया
Yeah.
हार गई थी, तो ये बोला गया था कि इंडिया को प्रैक्टिस मैचेस खेलने चाहिए थे, सो दैट दे गेट एक्लिमेटाइज्ड, और फिर यू हैव सम सॉर्ट ऑफ अ प्रैक्टिस। तो ये मुझे लगता है हो सकता है, लेकिन आई वाज लिटिल सरप्राइज्ड कि गिवन द kind of quality of players that India has and experienced players, I know 2 to 3 players were quite inexperienced. I think it was a shocker of a performance by India. मतलब बहुत ही मैं तो बोलूंगा बासी रद्दी परफॉर्मेंस। 245 मुझे लगा था कि was a quite a decent score, was quite a decent score। मुझे लगा कि India did relatively well considering where they were in the first innings। South Africa, I mean, I think the man himself was surprised the way he played। डीन अलगर जब उन्होंने 140 रन मारे फर्स्ट डे में,
Yeah.
I mean
So
his
let's do this. Let's just break this test matches down by both,
तो segment, yeah,
this thing. So let's just talk India. Um, I think, you rightly called it. If you look at the team itself, हम team की बात करते हैं. You had Jaiswal, Sharma, Gill,
yeah।
Kohli, Iyer, Rahul, and then Ashwin Thakur. Then you had inclusion of Prasidh Krishna. I think you made two important points, because there was no what do you call it, tour match, whatever the practice game. And then you brought in players who kind of were already played bulk of the games in the recent times in terms of World Cup, in terms of T20s. So fatigue भी हो सकता है, combination of, not getting up used to these conditions, because they've been in Indian subcontinent for the last few months, or Indian subcontinent pitches में खेल रहे थे. So my first question is, why does BCCI bring some tours जहाँ पे वो players को acclimatise होने का chance ही नहीं दे रहे हैं? Do I blame the players? I mean, yeah, you can say certain amount of blame. Professionals there, they should be able to go around, but you need, even the best of the players need a couple of days to get in, hang in there. आपने 10 दिन पहले ही, मतलब 2 हफ्ते पहले they were playing ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ T20 सीरीज एंड ऑफ नवंबर तक, and then 10 दिन के बाद they started playing T20 series and ODIs in South Africa.
South Africa।
Now you can say, oh, okay, that could be your acclimatization game कि हमने आपको गेम में खिलाई है, तो फॉर्मेट अलग है. You are comparing a T20 format and ODI format to a whole 90 over game, 90 over, practice जो होता है वो 3 day test match होता है, 3 day games where you play for 3 days. They didn't do that. I think somewhere the miss has happened there, that they didn't do that, and now you can see the result why. First test in, and ये WTC में count होता है. People don't
True,
understand. This is counted on WT. So
Yeah.
why are you being such a idiotic board trying to make such stores where you don't give advantage to your own player?
So
I don't
two things there. I think एक है कि there are quite a number of players who actually didn't play in the recently concluded T20 and ODI series of South Africa. जैसे शुभमन गिल हो गए, जसप्रीत बुमराह, शार्दुल ठाकुर, Kohli, Rohit. So there are quite a few players who basically didn't play after the World Cup.
Yeah.
So उनको तो match practice भी नहीं थी. Second thing, the question that you are basically asking, why didn't they play the tour matches? So the story here is this goes back to when Ravi Shastri was a coach, and this happened during the South Africa ka tour when India toured, I think, couple of years back or 3 years back, whatever it is. Uh, there was supposed to be a tour match, but Indian team management, and so this is not the board, but Indian team management basically cancelled the tour match.
Hmm.
Yeah, with the clause, with a statement which was basically made behind cancelling the tour match was कि जो pitches जो बना देते हैं, to the visiting country, it's not the pitch that basically gets served up when they play the first test match. The conditions are quite, there's quite a disparity in terms of conditions. You basically, let's say South Africa में you're playing Centurion में, अभी जो Centurion में match हुआ है, it was, I wouldn't say it was a completely bowling friendly pitch, लेकिन थोड़ा फेवर कर रही थी बॉलिंग को, तो उसमें क्या करते हैं कि जो जो आई मीन ये अभी एक रिसेंटली ये जो ऑस्ट्रेलिया पाकिस्तान का भी जो मैच हुआ है वहां पे भी ये नॉइस आया था, तो वहां पे रवि शास्त्री और टीम मैनेजमेंट ने बोला कि यार you serve a different pitch. The quality of players who basically are basically playing in the practice match, they are not on par with the international, the team which plays in the international matches, and hence that was called off. And I think
Yeah.
that
So,
tradition has continued since then, that India does not play a tour match. I think शायद इंग्लैंड में खेलते होंगे because वहां पे conditions really do
but,
matter.
but here's a flip argument to that. Okay, I heard you what you said. So basically, then this is not a board thing. It's a team.
Yeah,
It's a team
team.
management thing. And then I blame the team management. Are you that arrogant that you don't want to give your players an ability chance to play the game of test cricket, of hanging in the game, doing that session by session practice?
True.
It's not about the pitch, it's about you getting a practice of playing session by session.
Session by session. I think
Guy
it
like
matters.
a guy like Shubman Gill, who is a fantastic player, a guy like Yashasvi Jaiswal, who are naturally talented players, will get an opportunity to play and hang in 20, 30, 40, 45 overs and get to that, changing the gear from it format to format. That is the whole purpose of, of a practice game before you play the real game. Obviously, the conditions will not be the same. Why would they give you the exact conditions? Are they stupid कि यार वो जो pitch actual pitch में वो
True.
वही देंगे आपको? वो तो होगा भी नहीं. Player quality भी खराब होगी. But that is the whole point, that you are getting used to the format, and I think वो clearly दिख रहा है. I mean, India played 67 overs in the first innings, and India played 30 odd overs, 34 overs in second innings. And when wickets fell down, it only had the vastly experienced Virat Kohli and another experienced player like Rahul, who's been on multiple tours, to have changed the gear in the middle of the game.
True.
आपने अगर
True.
राहुल का अगर परफॉर्मेंस देखा होगा, आई मीन एंड Rahul played fast stroking, and then nothing against that. Rahul did not play that Pujara style game. But Rahul hung in there. That was his job. Virat Kohli hung in there. Shreyas Iyer hung in there. But if you look at it, the second inning, I know Virat Kohli at the end of the day had to throw away his bat because he was losing partners, but pretty much, I believe the number of balls Virat Kohli faced was 82 in second innings. You know what is the next highest number of balls who faced?
Should be less than 50 or
Yeah, Shubman Gill,
should be
37 balls.
37 balls there.
That is the purpose of playing a practice game, that you are
Practice match. You get the bat time, you get the
you
ball
get
time.
you get the bat time, you get the ball time. It irrespective whether the quality of pitch is bad or the players are bad.
Quality of
That is why,
players are
and I think Indian team missed a trick here because इनके लिए the first and here's another problem I have with all on this whole the mentality. आप दो ही टेस्ट खेल रहे हो, आप प्रैक्टिस मैच नहीं खेल रहे हो. Effectively, after first match is a practice match to get into the format. By the time you play the second test, you kind of are done, and then have to change the format again because you're done.
so
The tour is over.
so I don't know ये टू मैच सीरीज कब से स्टार्ट हो गया साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ बिकॉज इंडिया साउथ अफ्रीका ऑलवेज ट्रेडिशनली दे हैव प्लेड थ्री मैचेस लेकिन आई थिंक ये शायद लास्ट दो सीरीज से चल रहा है व्हेन इंडिया हैज कम टू साउथ अफ्रीका एज वेल इन द लास्ट 3-4 years ये टू मैच सीरीज हो गई है आप देख रहे हैं आप अगर आप देखेंगे थ्री और मोर देन थ्री टेस्ट मैच सीरीज इज ओनली हैपनिंग बिटवीन लेट्स से
England,
इंडिया इंग्लैंड इंग्लैंड
Australia.
मे बी इंग्लैंड न्यूजीलैंड टॉप 3-4 कंट्रीज आई डोंट नो साउथ अफ्रीका को उन्होंने एटलीस्ट बीसीसीआई टर्म से रेलीगेट किया है मे बी ड्यू टू रेवेन्यू और वट एवर इट माइट बी
Oh,
द
I mean, has
माइट
to be revenue, and I
हैज टू
don't
बी
think the BCCI is making any money out of this anyway. I mean, I'm thinking all the money is kept by South Africa in all possibility because and I think that brings a bigger problem for Indian cricket or and not just Indian cricket. Yeah, I mean I'd say Indian cricket because India में वो टेस्ट मैचेस की वैल्यू नहीं है. और I think Kohli is the last great player in India who's kind of gives that importance to the test matches. And you've seen the way he plays and the way he approaches the game. I don't think the current crop has that ability. They're all very good players. It's can they translate that ability to this format? It's all about the format. Analogy एक बोल सकते हैं कि आप YouTube, I mean example YouTube में अगर ये YouTube analogy लूंगा, YouTube में शॉर्ट्स होता है, Instagram में रील्स होता है. आप वो 1 मिनट का रील बनाने में आप एक्सपर्ट हो, बट कैन यू मेक ए 30-40 मिनट वीडियो?
रेडियो
Requires a different skill set.
एंड
It's not
टेस्ट
that
मैच
you're not talented. It's not that you're not famous. It's basically a long form content.
ट्रू
Short form content, long form content अलग होता है. Similarly, long form cricket or short form cricket अलग होता है. Just because you're a very good in that doesn't mean yes you have inherent ability to do this, but you require a little bit different skill set to do manage the long form game. So I was a little disappointed with the way India batted the second innings. And I think यहाँ पे मुझे लगता है कि the likes of Pujara, the likes of Dravid, Lakshman, the kind we had,
हम्म
people who would hung in there. Yes, the run rate will not move. Um, I think that also I feel probably has been just exposed a bit, kind of way the way we play. I'm not saying I'm advocating कि यार हमें वैसा खेलना चाहिए. नहीं. I'm saying you can play the baseball way because I think India played that run rate of four sort of a scenario. But the difference वो है कि baseball cricket of England they play a lot of test matches and they get opportunities to play a lot of longer format. Uh, when you don't play, when you don't practice, even the best of the best are going to struggle because of lack of this thing. And वो I think second innings में दिख गया था, and that's why I was very confident that South Africa would actually beat India because not just home conditions. I think that is not the same team they had sent up for their World Cup and all. It's like Dean Gallagher doesn't play World Cup. You know, Bedingham is a new guy. Zorzi is a new guy. Berger is a absolutely new find. I mean, we'll talk about South Africa in just a minute, but maybe the time has for India has come. Ki, do they want to have different format, different players? At least the core. मतलब रहाणे को आपने निकाल दिया, आपने पुजारा को निकाल दिया, पंत इज इंश्योर्ड. Are your replacements? Yes, they are very good, but are they good enough to switch between formats and change their gears? I don't know. We'll see. But I think some of
सो
those harsh realities got exposed in that test match.
Yeah, so maybe I think maybe you can just give benefit of doubt to this
I
current
will.
Indian team क्योंकि अभी पुजारा और रहाणे अभी रिसेंटली गए हैं सो मे बी हो सकता है थोड़ा टाइम लगे गिल यूज्ड टू ओपन द बैटिंग ही इज कम बैक ही इज नाउ बैटिंग एट थ्री ओपनिंग एंड नंबर थ्री में आना इतना ड्रामेटिकली डिफरेंट नहीं होता है लेकिन you just possibly got to give them a little bit of time. Yashasvi
Of
Jaiswal, I
course.
don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything to Jaswal. I mean, new guy, man. He's.
huh.
I was
So
talking about the approach to the game. That's all. You know.
approach, yeah. I think ये एक बहुत वैलिड पॉइंट है. आई मीन दिस हैज टू बी, आई मीन इंग्लैंड ने एक टेम्पलेट सेट किया है बेसबॉल का. आई डोंट नो इफ इंडिया वांट्स टू फॉलो इट. आई डोंट नो इफ एनीवन कैन फॉलो इट. लेकिन ये जो पॉइंट बोला है जैसे आपने कि पुजारा रहाणे, और अगर आप साउथ अफ्रीका के डीन एल्गर को देखेंगे, उनके रिमेनिंग थोड़े जो प्लेयर्स हैं, बेनिंगम वगैरह जो नए प्लेयर्स आए हैं, आई थिंक ये जो करंट क्रॉप ऑफ प्लेयर्स हैं, T20s और ओडीआईज, स्पेशली T20s इतना ज्यादा खेलते हैं, वो फ्रंट फुट पे ज्यादा खेलते हैं. मतलब दे हैव दिस हैबिट ऑफ थ्रोइंग द बैट, बिकॉज
Correct.
एक आदत सी बन जाती है, राइट? यू वांट टू फील द बॉल. Likes of Elgars and likes of Rahanes and Pujaras, they don't had that habit. They didn't, Rahane ने थोड़ी बहुत लिमिटेड फॉर्मेट खेली.
Natural.
हाँ, तो वो शायद ज्यादा ही 4 गेम मैच, 4 डे मैच और रणजी ट्रॉफी मैचेस ज्यादा ही खेल रहे थे लास्ट 4-5 साल से. तो पॉसिबली दैट बेनिफिटेड इंडिया ऑन द हाइंड साइड. वी बीन, आई मीन काफी लोग अगेंस्ट थे पुजारा और रहाने के बैटिंग, as far as the number of runs and their approach towards batting was concerned, which was kind of labeled as negative. But looking back at it, and the success that India had, especially when they were touring away, possibly that's what something which India requires now. Which I'm not really sure if they're going to get it now. Because it's a matter of time. Rohit is going to go away from Test matches, and you're only have these sort of players like likes of Shubman Gills and Yashasvi Jaiswal, who are playing quite a lot of T20 and shorter format players. So let's see. It's you got to wait and watch. You got to give them some time. Hopefully they turn up well for India in the years to come.
Yeah. So I think here's the thing, right? I mean,
एक और चीज, आई मीन while you bring something up, Arvind, मैं एक और मिथ में जी रहा था कि इंडिया हैज बीन डूइंग वेरी वेल आउटसाइड, विच आई on generically आप बोल सकते हैं last 7-8 years में they've done relatively well. I mean the series that that everyone kind of talks about ki is India drawing the series in England, India winning couple of series in Australia. लेकिन I don't know if you know this, in the last 5 test matches in Sena countries,
yeah.
India has lost all 5.
That's exactly what
Just
I was trying to pull up. That's exactly what I was trying to see is how was India's performance in the SENA country. So, Darshako ke liye, SENA is the term acronym for South Africa, England, New Zealand, and Australia.
true.
The four big cricketing giants outside the subcontinent world, where the pitches are different, where the ball movement is different, and the conditions are different, where there is still some sort of cricketing traditions around longer format games, in general around test matches, in general around a series. Um, and that's probably more high profile, sort of a scenario. And that's why we're not counting West Indies and they're not part of this group. That's why it's called SENA. These are the four countries. So मैं वही देख रहा था. If I remember that famous Australia series जो इंडिया ने the GABA बोलते हैं अभी, the
Yeah.
Ravichandran and the Tim Paine steered GABA mate वाला जो remark है. Actually, the first test match which happened in Adelaide, India crashed to that 36. It was a infamous now. That was the first match's second inning.
Hmm.
First score was 244. Eerily similar. Um, and then Australia had 191. Australia didn't do that well again, unlike South Africa. तो मैं वही देख रहा था कि back in the day, if you look at that squad there, you still had the same issues. You had Mayank Agarwal, you had Rohit Sharma was there as the vice captain, but then you had Shubman Gill, who was still the new guy. But you really have Rahane and Pujara and Pant kind of were like the bedrock of the middle order back in the day. And they also struggled, that first test. And then it took after that, I think Virat left for India. And then you had Rahane captaining, and then second test match with the normal series resumed. Difference वही है ना sort of कि it's a 4 test match series. So India was fair enough. First test match आप practice कर रहे मान लो जो भी है. Whatever you got acclimatized to the conditions or whatever you want to say. And Yeah, they use the remaining three to kind of go forward and do make history. They're not going to get this chance now in South Africa because they're going to lose because they only have two test matches. So I think, yeah, I think it's going to be a problem for India when they schedule such series without thinking through
Proper,
everything.
proper planning. And it's going to be a long wait for India. I think अब next series जो भी होगी South Africa में, I'm pretty sure Rohit Sharma is not going to be there. Jasprit Bumrah right now is in his prime. After 2 year, 2 साल, Jasprit Bumrah का prime रहेगा नहीं रहेगा. Shami would be 35, 36 then.
Kohli
Ashwin
is
possibly
probably
will be,
Indian,
will not
possibly
be
Ashwin
around.
is
So you're
done.
going to be playing with newer crop of players versus this South African team अभी
Let's
नहीं
talk
है.
about South Africa.
It's gonna be far more experienced team. I don't think so. Next tour में तो मैं शायद बोलूंगा. I mean, forecast करना बहुत difficult होता है. लेकिन South Africa might be favorites then at that point of time. So it might just be a long wait for the team India to win a test
Win a
series
test
in South
series.
Africa. और मेरे हिसाब से ये दो टेस्ट मैच सीरीज should be scrapped against a team like I can understand with a team like West Indies. लेकिन साउथ अफ्रीका अगर आपने क्राउड भी देखा होगा आई नो इट वाज द बॉक्सिंग डे टेस्ट मैच इट वाज क्वाइट डिसेंट.
Pretty good, pretty good.
आई थिंक तीन टेस्ट मैच सीरीज
Three should
अगेंस्ट
have been
टीम
the
लाइक.
win.
या.
Yeah. Let's talk South Africa now. Rightly you called out the champions, and the champions of the first test. I rather is um, Dean Elgar's last series, I believe, farewell series for him.
Oh, yeah, it's the last series. Why is he stepping down? I don't know. But yeah, I get it.
So crazy. What a score by him, 185. I was very impressed. The way he played.
Oh, he
I
played
mean,
very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. I mean, मैंने एक दो बार देखी है उनकी बैटिंग. ऐसा उन्होंने खेला है पहले भी. लेकिन this is not his, I mean, I use the word doggedness, right, to define Elgar.
yeah,
He's like the wall for South Africa, and he's been India's nemesis the last series as well. जो इन साउथ अफ्रीका ने जीती इंडिया के साथ इन साउथ अफ्रीका. ही प्लेड वेल देयर एज वेल एंड वहां पे तो क्वाइट कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग इनिंग्स खेली थी वहां पे. ऑलमोस्ट लाइक जैसे पुजारा को आप बोलते हैं ना, ही टुक ब्लोज टू द बॉडी. ही मेड श्योर ही स्टेड टिल द एंड, स्कोर्ड द विनिंग रन्स. So he played a very pivotal role there, and I think he announcing that it's going to be his final series. I think he's kind of थोड़ा सा free होके खेल रहे हैं is the only thing that I can think of as a reason. But marvelous innings. I mean, मुझे जैसा लग रहा था कि यार इंडिया की बॉलिंग बहुत ही ऑर्डिनरी लग रही है in front of player like Dean Elgar, who is not so flamboyant. So which was quite telling, which I think it kind of defines, sums up India's performance. Dean Elgar ने 185 odd runs मार दिए 70 के strike rate पे against the likes of Bumrah and Co. So which is so I hope it's a good swan song for for Elgar. Second test match है लेकिन I think he's done his job. I think South Africa is not going to lose a test series from here on. So
yeah.
amazing,
And I,
amazing play by Dean Elgar.
and I was looking at the squads here, sort of. I mean, guys like Berger, Andre Berger. I think it's his debut. Um, he, I think he's a new guy. You got David Bedingham. Then you got Zubair Hamza, and then you got Vian Mulder, Egan Peterson, Tristan Stubbs, Kyle Veranian, and Tony Delgado. This, I think, is probably what do you call evolution of South Africa into a new generation because they had a after that whole callous AB de Villiers era, it was in a state of transition for many years.
Yeah, yeah.
You had people, but I'm talking tests. I'm not talking ODIs and T20s. And I think the Temba Bavuma era, you can call it. No, he didn't play this game. Do you see this is the new South Africa with Marco Janssen at that lower down the order, with Rabada trying to come back and
See,
there's always very good.
so I don't know. I mean, like इंडिया में जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, आई मीन एक इंडिया का एक वो तेंदुलकर, गांगुली, सहवाग, लक्ष्मण. So South
Yeah,
Africa की अगर आप देखेंगे, you had Graeme Smith, you had Callis, you had AB de Villiers, you had Amla, you had Faf du Plessis. I mean,
correct.
Faf du Plessis का टेस्ट रिकॉर्ड भी काफी अच्छा है. You had these players. I mean, after these players, I don't know if South Africa would ever be able to match the quality of players that these guys were. No, but if you look at it, Elgar is going to go away, so I don't know who is going to be, the opener now. लेकिन को आपने Tony Dazorzi, right? I mean, if I'm pronouncing it right, he played very well in ODI matches as well, and seemed like he could be a very good test match player the way he played in ODIs. तीन चार प्लेयर्स हैं साउथ अफ्रीका के, और द वन गुड थिंग व्हिच पॉसिबली हैज हैपेंड वेल टू साउथ अफ्रीका एज अ ओवरऑल क्रिकेट टीम इज द कोपैक, जो एक होता था
Mm-hmm.
बिकॉज ऑफ ब्रेक्सिट. अब वो नहीं हो रहा है. सो लाइक्स ऑफ, क्या नाम है इनका, ड्यूड बेनिंगम, right? I mean, again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So
Mm-hmm.
he basically has played a lot of county cricket, and he's played for Durham. So Durham supposedly is one of the matlab tricky pitches that you basically have in England. तो अगर कोई बंदा वहां से खेल के आ रहा है, he would be able to adjust to the swing and the seam, across anywhere. And you saw that. I mean, I saw him playing, for 10 balls, because मैंने उनकी कभी बैटिंग नहीं देखी, and I saw he looked very very comfortable. आई थिंक तीन चार गुड प्लेयर्स आ रहे हैं साउथ अफ्रीका के. आई डोंट नो कि डेवॉल ब्रेविस भी हैं, लेकिन आई डोंट नो डेवॉल ब्रेविस टेस्ट मैच खेलेंगे नहीं खेलेंगे, बिकॉज इज काइंड ऑफ नोन फॉर हिज फ्लैम्बॉयंट ओडीआई शॉर्ट फॉर्मेट प्ले. लेकिन है तो, आई मीन, आई स्टिल बिलीव कि थोड़े गैप्स हैं, लेकिन आई थिंक ओवर द इयर्स they will try to get few good players here and there. Lekin I think it's going to take some time to fill in the shoes of
Yeah, obviously,
uh,
but I think, I mean, I know it's going to take time, but लग रहा है कि ऐसा है कि at least there is a very positive path forward for
हाँ. वो
Southern Sudan.
एक चीज ये है कि बॉलिंग उनकी अच्छी है. आई थिंक बॉलिंग, आई मीन, जस्ट इमेजिन, एक और चीज, साउथ अफ्रीका में आंद्रिक नोर्किया नहीं खेले, लुंगी अंगीडी नहीं खेले. दीज आर देयर टॉप
I know.
बॉलर्स. और वो नहीं खेले. कोएत्जा इज रिलेटिवली वेरी न्यू. आई नो कि उन्होंने एक साल से काफी अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस की. मार्को यानसन, आई थिंक ही इज गोना बी दी, वो जो एक फास्ट बॉलिंग ऑलराउंडर विच साउथ अफ्रीका वाज सर्चिंग फॉर. एक टाइम पे साउथ अफ्रीका के पास ये ऐसे टाइप के प्लेयर्स रहते थे, क्लूजनर, पॉलॉक, फिर बाद में कैलिस. कैलिस तो काफी टाइम खेले टॉप ऑर्डर में भी. तो आई थिंक ही इज गोना बी देयर, यू नो
Possibly the next best find. Yeah.
नेक्स्ट बेस्ट फाइंड एज फार एज द ऑलराउंडर इज कंसर्न. तो बॉलिंग में आई थिंक, और महाराज अच्छी बॉलिंग करते हैं, एज
Yeah.
फार एज स्पिन इज कंसर्न. बस मुझे थोड़ा सा एक कंसर्न या फिर एक टॉकिंग पॉइंट रहेगा उनकी बैटिंग का.
Yeah.
सो
I
आई
mean,
नो दे डिड.
obviously, it'll take time, but bowling looks fabulous. I mean, you look at Andrik Nokia, Lungi Ngidi, Kagiso Rabada, Gerard Coetzee, Marco Janssen, this new guy Berger, Keshav
बर्गर, या
Maharaj, Tabraiz
केशव
Shamshi.
महाराज,
You look at that
रविशम.
gamut of players. South Africa's bowling, number six ke baad, looks really, really good.
So,
I,
and as a backup, so you also mean, it also means you have good backup.
good
I mean,
backups.
आंड्रिक नोकिया चले गए तो कोएत्जे आ गए. लुंगी नीडी चले गए तो बर्गर आ गए.
Berger aa
सो
gaya. They did
हाँ, so
well.
that's one thing. That's one good thing. I
It's a
think
good thing.
साउथ अफ्रीका का स्ट्रक्चर जो ओवरऑल है, इट्स क्वाइट गुड. आई मीन, साउथ अफ्रीका, आई मीन, लास्ट 30-31 ईयर्स से जो भी मैं देख रहा हूँ, देयर हैव बीन वेरी फ्यू ईयर्स वेयर आई फाउंड, they have played very very poor. I think तीन चार years that this is what I can recollect, जब AB de Villiers, Hashim Amla ये सब retire हो गए. That was the time when South Africa as a team was not performing, well for almost 2-3 years. लेकिन barring that, I think उनका जो overall structure है, I think it's quite decent. I think they will keep producing good players. Test matches में बस, as I said, batting they have to watch out for. I hope they find some good players in the days to come. So,
I think it looks interesting, and I think the Bavuma ki jagah, I think the guy who's going to come in for them is Zubair Hamza. He is
he's played.
gonna
He's
be
played. He
the
has played before. I've seen him before. Let's see. I mean,
yeah
how does he play?
yeah yeah. Okay, I think we'll wrap up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think India will go back to the drawing board, थोड़ा सोचेंगे कि करना क्या है second test में. I think they would want to win that to, at least draw a series, even if they can't, win the series. Winning a test match, Newlands, like second test is in Cape Town. Um, yeah, I think a little bit of introspection needs to happen on the, on the batting lineup to see and everything. These are amazing players, so don't doubt their ability. It's just that can they switch gears and just settle into the format because they need to settle into this format quickly because 3 weeks after that they're playing England. Baseball comes to India, so.
I think India really doesn't have to think when the test matches are really happening in India.
Yeah, but I'm
I
talking
think
about the batting team, getting in,
yeah, right,
getting it,
right, right,
hanging in.
right, 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 right.
India has a great chance to do that well, and so some of these players are going to continue playing that format, right? So that's I
True,
think
true,
what
true,
it is. So
true, true.
okay, I think we'll end it here. Thank you again for watching this. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends and family. वापस बात करेंगे अगले वीडियो में. More about cricket, more about India, South Africa, but also a little bit of Pakistan, Australia, which
I I think we can do
is
one tomorrow.
brimming.
I think it's gonna be a humdinger of a match again.
Pretty amazing, amazing game. I mean,
Could be,
for
could be,
cricket
could be.
lovers, and we'll see how it is. But Pakistan has finally turned up there, so we'll see how if that translates them winning it or crashing it. We'll see about that. But yeah, good game on that side of the world. But yeah, talk again about that another on India or South Africa. Second test
Yeah.
in our next video. Till then, bye bye.
Bye bye.